Have you ever wondered why certain older gentlemen seem to carry a distinct, unpleasant odor, even when you know they are meticulously clean people? It's a belief we all share, isn't it? That being clean means smelling clean. For generations, it's been a simple sign of self-respect. But this is a delicate subject, and it's so much more than a simple inconvenience. In my years as a family doctor, I've seen how this unspoken issue can create an invisible wall around a good man. I've seen grandchildren who hesitate, just for a second, before hugging their grandpa. Or lifelong friends who unconsciously keep a subtle distance during their weekly coffee meeting. This isn't about vanity. It's a silent threat to the close connections you cherish most. But here is what decades of experience, sitting with thousands of patients, have taught me. In over 90% of these cases, the cause is not a lack of cleanliness at all. It's a series of small, completely overlooked habits that simply don't work for an aging body. I'm not talking about theory. I'm talking about real life. I'll never forget a patient of mine, Robert. A proud Korean War veteran who, in his late 70s, became withdrawn and started declining invitations to his weekly VFW card game. His family was worried sick. It turned out the solution wasn't complicated at all. It was a simple adjustment in his bathroom routine that gave him his confidence and his social life back entirely. Today, we're going to walk through 5 of these common habits. More importantly, for each one, I'll give you a simple, practical fix that you can start using this very day. There are no fancy products to buy, and no complicated routines to learn. And be sure to stay with me until the end. The 5th and final point is the one most men get wrong, and understanding it is absolutely crucial for preserving the dignity and self-respect you have earned over a lifetime. My advice today comes not just from medical books, but from sitting with and listening to real people, just like you, for over 30 years. Before we dive in, I truly want to know how many of you have sensed this as an issue, either for yourself or for a man you care about. If what I've shared feels familiar, please comment a simple yes below. It shows me you understand, and it shows others in our community that they are not alone. Okay, let's get started. Alright, let's begin with our first point. This one is perhaps the most common, and also the most sensitive, so please know that I share this with the utmost respect. Number 1. Not wiping thoroughly enough. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That sounds so incredibly basic, almost insulting. For a generation of men who were taught to be self-reliant and capable, the idea that you might not be handling this simple task correctly can feel frustrating. But please, hear me out, because this has absolutely nothing to do with a lack of care or effort. It has everything to do with the natural changes of an aging body. Let's talk about the core reason why this becomes an issue. As we get older, our bodies naturally change. The flexibility we had in our spine and shoulders at 40, well, it's just not the same at 70 or 80. Stiff joints, maybe from a touch of arthritis, or a lower back that complains now and then, can make it genuinely difficult to reach and twist with the same ease we used to. This isn't a failure. It's simply a physical reality. Without even realizing it, this small loss of motion can mean you're not cleaning the area as effectively as you have for the past 50 years. And here is the second, crucial part of the problem. On top of the physical changes, our sense of smell naturally declines with age. It's a subtle shift, one we rarely notice in ourselves. So while you might be completely unaware of any lingering issue, those around you, a spouse, a child, or a close friend, might notice a faint, persistent odor. It's not a strong, obvious smell that announces itself. It's more of a low-level stale scent that can get trapped in the fabric of your underwear and trousers, and it can follow you throughout the day. This is the very reason the problem can go on for years, creating a silent and heartbreaking distance that no one knows how to talk about. I've had many good men sit in my office, utterly baffled by this. I remember one patient in particular, Frank. He was a retired naval officer, a man who prided himself on discipline and meticulous personal standards. His wife had gently brought the issue to his attention, and he was deeply hurt and confused. He told me, "Doc, I shower every single day. I'm a clean person." And he was absolutely right. The problem wasn't his hygiene. It was that his lifelong method was no longer working for his current body. We discovered that relying only on dry toilet paper was the main culprit. Dry paper, especially on older, less supple skin, can sometimes smear residue instead of completely removing it. This is exactly the kind of situation that demonstrates why we need to adapt our approach. The solution here isn't about trying harder. It's about working smarter. It's about using a better tool for the job. The fix is wonderfully simple, and it begins with making a switch. The first and easiest step is to stop relying solely on dry toilet paper. Instead, add flushable moist wipes to your routine. They provide a much more thorough cleaning and leave you feeling genuinely fresh. An even better, and surprisingly affordable, long-term solution is a bidet attachment for your toilet. You can find excellent ones online for under $50, and they are easy to install. A bidet doesn't just clean, it offers a level of confident freshness that can truly change how you feel throughout the day. It's not just a tool, it's an investment in your own comfort and dignity. So, I urge you, make this one small adjustment. This isn't a sign of weakness, and it's certainly not something to be ashamed of. It's a sign of wisdom. It's about adapting your routine to honor the body you have today. It's about taking a practical step to ensure you can move through your day and interact with the people you love with complete and total confidence. If you agree that simple, practical solutions are always the best approach, take a moment and just comment the word practical below. It lets me know that we're on the right track together. All right. Let's move on to our second point. A habit that many good men, especially from a generation that valued thrift and practicality, might not give a second thought to. Number 2. Wearing the same underwear for too long. Now, this may seem like a small thing, but in my experience, the line between smelling fresh and smelling stale can literally come down to what you're wearing underneath. A single day can make all the difference. To understand why, we need to look at how our bodies work as we age. The core of the issue is simple biology. As we get older, our skin's ability to regulate temperature isn't as efficient as it once was. We might sweat less overall, but certain areas of the body, particularly the groin, can stay damp longer. The fabrics worn right against our skin, like underwear, become incredibly important. When a pair of briefs is worn for more than one day, that fabric traps a combination of things: moisture from sweat, natural oils from your skin, and dead skin cells that we are constantly shedding. This warm, moist environment becomes a perfect breeding ground for the kind of bacteria that produce odor. It's a slow, quiet process, but over the course of 24 to 48 hours, it can build up significantly. But there's another, more delicate reason why this becomes so crucial as we age. It's incredibly common, yet rarely discussed openly. That is the issue of minor urinary leakage. As men get older, changes in the prostate are almost universal, and this can often lead to small, occasional drips of urine after using the restroom. This is not a sign of failure or something to be ashamed of. It is a normal part of the aging process for millions of men. The problem is that even a few drops, which you might not even feel, can have a noticeable effect when they are held in a fabric close to your body for an extended period. The ammonia in urine has a very distinct, sharp smell that only intensifies over time. The result of all this is a faint but persistent stale, musty smell. It's a scent that subtly seeps into the fabric and becomes part of your personal scent without you ever realizing it, largely because, as we discussed, our own sense of smell is no longer as sharp. This reminds me so much of my old neighbor, Arthur. He was a wonderful man, sharp as a tack and a brilliant storyteller. But Arthur was from the Depression era, and he was very frugal. To save a little on laundry, he'd often wear the same briefs for a couple of days, especially if he'd just been relaxing at home. He couldn't smell a thing. But his family, particularly his daughter, when she came to visit, noticed it. They loved him dearly, but it created a small, unspoken barrier. It was a classic case of a man with good intentions whose habits simply hadn't caught up to the realities of his aging body. Thankfully, the solution here is one of the most straightforward and empowering changes you can make. The rule is simple, and in my medical opinion, it's non-negotiable. A fresh pair of underwear every single day. No exceptions. Think of it as a clean slate each morning. And we can take it one step further. When it's time to buy new underwear, please choose your fabric wisely. The role of the right material is vital. Invest in breathable, natural fabrics like cotton. They allow air to circulate and do a much better job of wicking moisture away from your skin, keeping you drier and fresher all day long. So I want you to take this as a call to action. Today, go through your underwear drawer. If you find pairs that are stretched out, faded, or have lost their elasticity, it's time to let them go. Replacing them is not a frivolous expense. It is a fundamental act of self-respect. It's a quiet declaration that you care about your comfort, your health, and your dignity. Now, I'm curious, and I'd love for you to share. Is a fresh pair every day already your rule? Let me know with a simple yes or no in the comments. There's no judgment here, only understanding. Now we arrive at our third point. And this one is a bit different. Because sometimes, the source of a lingering odor isn't on your body at all. It's in the environment right around you. Number 3. Ignoring bathroom ventilation. This is a hidden culprit, a silent contributor to the stale, musty smell that can cling to a person's skin and clothes without them ever suspecting the true cause. The science behind it is quite simple. When you take a nice, hot shower, you create steam. That steam is moisture, and it fills the air, creating a humid environment. This moisture then settles on every surface in the room. The mirror, the walls, and most importantly, on the soft, absorbent fabrics like your towels, your bath mat, and the robe hanging on the back of the door. For odor-causing bacteria and mildew, this is paradise. A warm, damp, often dark bathroom is the perfect place for them to grow and multiply. It's a quiet enemy, and it thrives in the one place you go to get clean. This is what creates that distinct, musty, damp room smell that I'm sure we're all familiar with. Now, here is the core reason this becomes such a significant issue, especially as we get older. The problem isn't just that the room smells a little damp. The real issue is the moment you step out of the shower, clean and refreshed, and you reach for your towel. If that towel has been hanging in a poorly ventilated bathroom, it has never had the chance to dry completely. It has been acting like a damp sponge, harboring millions of those microscopic mildew spores. As you dry off, you are literally transferring those spores and their sour, musty odor directly from the towel onto your clean skin. You effectively undo the benefit of your shower in the 30 seconds it takes to dry off. The result is a frustrating and confusing symptom. You walk out of the bathroom feeling perfectly clean, but you unknowingly carry a subtle, sour scent with you. It's a smell that gets into the fibers of your shirt and follows you into the living room. Family members might notice it, but you likely won't, because you've become accustomed to the ambient smell of your own bathroom. This exact situation reminds me of a patient of mine, a gentleman named Mr. Peterson. His home was absolutely spotless. He was a retired accountant, and everything in his life was orderly and precise. But his family had noticed this faint, sour smell. When I spoke with him, he was at a complete loss. The source of the problem was his bathroom. It had no exhaust fan, and for privacy and to avoid drafts, he always kept the small window tightly shut. His towels, which were beautiful, thick, and fluffy, were the culprits. They were hanging on a hook behind the door, never fully drying between uses. The smell he was carrying wasn't from a lack of hygiene. It was coming from the very towel he used to dry his clean body. Once we identified the problem, the solution was incredibly simple, and you can put it into practice today. This is a call to action for your environment. First, if you have an exhaust fan in your bathroom, you must use it. Make it a habit to turn it on the moment you step into the shower, and let it run for at least 20 minutes after you get out. This actively pulls the moist air out of the room. If you don't have a fan, don't worry. Simply crack open a window, or just leave the bathroom door wide open after you're done. You need to allow fresh, dry air to circulate and replace the damp air. And finally, take care of your fabrics. Instead of hanging your towel on a hook where it stays bunched up, spread it out over a towel bar so it can dry completely. And make sure you are washing your towels and your bath mats at least once a week in hot water to kill any mildew that might be starting to grow. Let your bathroom breathe. It is one of the easiest, most effective, and completely free changes you can make to ensure that when you're clean, you smell clean. Now, I have a feeling this might be a new idea for some of you. If this is an aha moment for you, if you've never connected a damp bathroom to your personal scent before, just comment the word lightbulb below. I bet this is new to many. Alright, let's proceed to our fourth point. This is a surprisingly common habit, especially among men who have transitioned from a busy working life into retirement. It's an act of omission, rather than commission. Number 4. Skipping deodorant. I've spoken with countless men over the years who quietly stop using deodorant once they retire. The logic seems sound enough on the surface. They'll tell me, "Doc, I'm not heading to the office anymore. I'm not working up a sweat in the yard like I used to. So what's the point?" It's an easy step to let slide. But from a medical standpoint, that is a fundamental misunderstanding of what causes body odor. Here's the science. Most people think body odor is the smell of sweat. But that's not quite right. Sweat itself is actually odorless. The odor we associate with sweat is created when the natural, harmless bacteria that live on our skin begin to break down the proteins and fats that are present in our sweat. It's the byproduct of that bacterial activity that creates the smell. Now, here is the core reason why this becomes so critical as we age. Your skin chemistry. The very makeup of the oils and proteins your body produces is not the same at 75 as it was at 40. Hormonal shifts and metabolic changes mean that the specific compounds on your skin are different. The bacteria that live on your skin interact with these new compounds differently, and this interaction can create a very distinct, often stronger and more pungent, baseline odor. You can be perfectly clean, freshly showered, and not sweating at all, but this underlying chemical reaction is still happening on your skin. This leads to a very common and relatable symptom. Even after a thorough morning shower, a noticeable odor can begin to develop within just a few hours, particularly under the arms where bacteria thrive. It's not a smell of being dirty. It's a specific chemical smell that many people associate with an old person's scent, and it persists even with good hygiene. I'm immediately reminded of a patient of mine, Richard. He was a retired high school history teacher, a wonderful man who showered like clockwork every morning. He was always neatly dressed and well-groomed. But he had stopped using deodorant years ago, believing it was unnecessary. The person who finally gave him the gentle nudge he needed was his 8-year-old granddaughter. One afternoon, she gave him a big hug and, with the complete and total innocence of a child, she looked up at him and said, "Grandpa, you smell different." It broke his heart. Not because she was being unkind, but because he realized he had been completely unaware. Richard wasn't sweaty or unhygienic. He just needed a tool that was suited for his body's chemistry today, not the chemistry he had 30 years ago. This brings us to the simple, constructive action you can take. It's time to reintroduce a crucial step into your morning routine. Please, use an effective antiperspirant deodorant every single morning after you shower. It's important to understand the role of both parts. The deodorant component helps to control the bacteria on your skin, neutralizing the odor at its source. The antiperspirant component helps to control moisture, which makes the environment less hospitable for those bacteria to begin with. And here's my call to action for you. If you are still using the same brand of deodorant you've used since you were a young man, and you suspect it isn't working as well as it used to, you are probably right. Don't be afraid to try a new brand. Formulations have improved dramatically over the years. Look for products that offer long-lasting, clinical strength protection. This isn't about vanity. It's your daily shield of freshness. It's a simple, 2-second step that provides a foundation of confidence for the rest of your day. Don't skip it. I have a feeling this information might come as a surprise to many. If you've learned something new here about how body chemistry changes with age, just take a moment and comment the word "surprised" below. Let's see how many of us had a little revelation. And that brings us to our fifth and final point. This is the one I asked you to wait for, because it's arguably the biggest and most common mistake of all. It's a habit born from good intentions, but one that ultimately makes the problem worse. Number 5. Masking odors instead of fixing them. What I'm talking about is the reliance on scented air fresheners, plug-ins, or potent sprays to cover up bathroom smells. It seems like such a logical thing to do. You use the restroom, and you give the room a quick spritz of pine or lavender to be considerate. The problem is, this approach is like putting a bandage on a broken arm. It doesn't fix anything. Let's look at the simple science of it. Those scented sprays don't actually eliminate the molecules that are causing the odor. They don't make them disappear. Instead, they simply release a powerful cloud of their own chemical compounds into the air. What you end up with is not a fresh, clean scent, but a confusing and often cloying mixture of the original, underlying odor and the powerful perfume. It's a combination that I've heard patients describe as flowers and funk, or pine and problem. In many ways, this mixture can be even more unpleasant and noticeable than the original scent on its own. It's an artificial smell that screams, "I'm trying to cover something up." The core reason this habit is so detrimental as we age is that it provides a false sense of security. It's a quick fix that feels productive, but it's a dangerous distraction. It prevents us from looking for the real source of the problem. Is the unpleasant smell coming from a toilet that needs a deeper cleaning? Is it coming from the perpetually damp towels that we discussed earlier? Or is it a sign of poor ventilation that's allowing mildew to grow? By simply spraying over the problem, you never ask the right questions. You never actually solve anything. The most common symptom of this habit is a bathroom that has a constant, heavy, almost suffocating perfume smell. You walk in, and the artificial scent hits you immediately. But if you stay in the room for a minute, you begin to notice that the fragrance doesn't quite cover up an underlying stale or sour note. It's a layered scent, and it is never the smell of something truly clean. This was exactly the situation with a patient of mine named Earl. He was a kind widower who took great pride in keeping a neat home after his wife passed away. But anyone who visited him noticed that his bathroom had an overpowering, constant smell of pine spray. At first, it just seemed like he was being diligent. But the real problem was a tiny, slow leak at the base of his toilet. It was so small he hadn't even noticed the water, but it was enough to keep the bath mat and the floor around it permanently damp, creating a low-grade mildew problem. The pine spray was his daily attempt to fight the symptom, a musty smell, without ever realizing the cause. Once a plumber came in and fixed that tiny leak, a 10-minute job, the need for the air freshener completely vanished. The room just smelled clean. So, here is the final corrective action I want you to take. I want you to rethink your goal. Your goal should not be to have a scented bathroom. It should be to have a truly clean bathroom. A genuinely clean room has no smell at all. It smells like nothing. That is the scent of freshness. I urge you to put away the sprays. Stop masking and start investigating. Your first step should always be to focus on deep cleaning the source, especially under the toilet rim and around the base. Your second step is to control the moisture by ensuring good airflow, just as we discussed. Only then, once the room is truly clean and fresh on its own, should you even consider adding a light, natural scent if you want one. True freshness, the kind of freshness that follows you out of the room and into your day, will never come from a spray can. If you're ready to embrace this philosophy, to focus on clean over scented, I want you to commit. Just comment the word clean below. It's a declaration that you're ready to fix the source, not just cover the symptoms. As we bring our time together to a close, I want you to think back to the very beginning of this video, back to the story of Robert. The proud veteran had started to withdraw from his friends and the card game he loved so much. The simple habit that made all the difference for him was habit number 1, the one about not wiping thoroughly enough. After his daughter, with great care and gentleness, helped him understand the issue and switched to using moist wipes, his confidence returned almost overnight. He's now back at the VFW hall every Tuesday, winning at his weekly card game and telling stories just like he used to. It's a beautiful thing to see. A small, simple change, a 30-second adjustment to his daily routine, brought a huge and vital piece of his life back to him. And Robert's story truly gets to the heart of everything we've talked about today. This conversation has never really been about hygiene, has it? It's about something much deeper. It's about self-respect. It's about ensuring that nothing, absolutely nothing, stands in the way of you connecting with the people you love. It's about being able to give your grandchild a hug with open arms and a confident heart. The dignity you have built over a lifetime of hard work, integrity, and care that is worth protecting with these small, simple, and powerful acts. We've explored 5 critical habits that can truly transform how you feel in your own skin. But as your doctor and your friend, I know that knowledge is only powerful when we put it into action. So now, I have one important question for you. What is the one commitment you are making to yourself after watching this video today? It doesn't have to be a big one. It could be as simple as, I will let my bathroom air out after my shower. Or maybe, I will finally go through my underwear drawer this weekend. Or perhaps, I will try a new deodorant. Please share your personal commitment in the comments below. Writing it down makes it real. And seeing your commitment might just inspire someone else in our community to take that first, important step. And if you found real value and a sense of understanding in our time together, please show your support by giving this video a like. To ensure you continue on this journey with us, and never miss another video full of life-changing wisdom, hit that subscribe button. It's more than just a click. It's your way of joining a community of friends who are dedicated to aging with health and dignity together. Finally, I want you to think of one person. One friend, one family member, one neighbor, who might need to hear this message, shared with kindness. Please, share it with them. You never know. A little bit of knowledge, shared with care, can make all the difference in someone's life. Thank you for watching. Stay well, stay wise, and I'll see you in the next video.